Welcome to the 2026 February DAC training on test security. My name is Devin Avery, and I'm a database administrator in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. This training is one of a series meant to prepare DACs and BACs for the upcoming spring test administration. In this training, we are going to discuss test security, reporting allegations in Caveat Core, site monitoring visits, and KDE committee work. Our first topic is test security. In order to maintain the integrity of assessments, test security guidelines have been developed to be used by district assessment coordinators, building assessment coordinators, test administrators, and anyone involved with the administration of all state-required assessments and optional tests administered by school personnel that are reported in Kentucky's accountability system. Following these guidelines will ensure no student has access to any form of assistance or material that could provide an unfair advantage. The primary goal of test security is to protect the integrity of the assessment and to ensure that results are accurate and meaningful. The Administration Code Regulation was updated in August 2024. And updated training materials are posted on the KDE Assessment Regulation webpage. Annual training is required for every individual assisting with any component of testing. Additionally, all persons helping with testing, including tech support staff, must sign a non-disclosure form each year. Signature pages for training shall be filed and maintained at the district level. Anyone who is involved in the administration of a state assessment must receive the administration code training annually. Anyone providing or assisting with accommodations must receive both the administration code and inclusion of special populations trainings. The inclusion of special population trainings can be located on the KDE website and can be completed in person through live training with KDE or by using a district's online learning system. It is important to know when a student's accommodations have changed close to testing. Caution shall be used prior to making education plan changes related to accommodations near or within the state-required assessment window. Changes may occur based on the time an annual meeting is to occur. It is important that any change made is supported through data and evidence, particularly in the conference summary notes. In addition, ensure the student's new plan has been locked after any changes. Many districts do require both trainings to be completed by all test administrators and all parties involved with state assessments. This is a local decision that may be enforced without the consent of KDE. Secure test materials will vary slightly by assessment. Some of the most common examples are listed here. Online testing may have student test tickets and seal or access codes. Once these items are printed, you must keep them secure until they are distributed on the test day. After the test ticket and seal or access codes have been used, they will be returned to the BAC to be securely destroyed. If these are found outside the test session, on a desk, in a hallway, etc., this will constitute an allegation. If a seal code has been written on a classroom board for students to access, it must be erased at the end of the test session. Scratch paper is available to students in both the online and paper pencil testing formats. Scratch paper is considered a secure material since test questions or answers can be derived from these papers. The move to online testing has allowed schools to print a test ticket on a single page, so the student may use the rest of the page as scratch paper. Please review the TAM for each particular assessment for scratch paper guidelines. Important note, please train staff on and learn protocols for your specific test assessment as they vary from test to test. Secure materials are defined as items that include test content, whether tests themselves or scratch paper, or provide access to test content, such as seal codes or test tickets. Whether testing online or with paper tests, security is of the utmost importance. Therefore, it is important to point out that all online testing refers to the use of an online testing platform to complete an assessment in person, while trained staff administer that assessment and monitor students. At this time, KDE and the Administration Code Regulation Do not permit remote proctoring for any state assessment. Attempting to administer any state assessment over Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc., will result in multiple allegations against test security. In monitoring and conducting observations, KDE has observed areas that can be problematic for assessment administrators. Scripts need to be read in their entirety and may not be paraphrased. If a script is paraphrased, it will lead to an allegation. There have been several instances of students receiving incorrect accommodations. Please be sure the accommodations being provided are reflective of the most current student plan. This also includes making sure any technology supports are enabled in the online test platform if available. It is important to ensure that all training is completed by everyone involved with any state assessment. Testing staff needs to be actively monitoring students during the entirety of the exam. This includes making sure students are working in the correct part of the test, are not using any concealed personal electronic devices, and are completing the test appropriately. Here are some important steps to think about. Please make sure all staff involved in the administration are trained. Prior to test administration, consider training additional staff to actively monitor students. You will need technology staff for troubleshooting online testing, and those staff need to sign an NDA. Maintain test security of all secure materials from the time they are received or printed until they are shipped back to the vendor. Seating charts are required for all state assessments. As a reminder, it is important to know the seating chart policy for the vendor if it differs from KDE. And finally, test site observations will be conducted in person or virtually by KDE staff, as well as Cavion staff. Speaking of Cavion, let's discuss the online reporting platform for allegations. The reporting tool for allegations is online with Cavion Core. DAC should report all violations of the administration code regulation, inclusion of special population regulation, or the specific test administration manuals as allegations. DACs, please ensure you have created an account ID. Allegations are investigated by KDE staff. The investigations require documentation of the incident to be submitted and can include additional school visits and interviews with those involved, both students and staff. The links to the Cavion account and Cavion directions can be found on the KDE website on the Assessment Support Allegation Reporting page. Here are some incident filing reminders. All relevant documents uploaded with the allegation report should be collected in advance. Before filing, record the date and time of the incident. List all involved, staff, volunteers, and students. Identify the content area and test parts impacted. Identify specific content questions if applicable. Record what you learn. Report the incident. Collect the support documents for all allegations in advance of filing. Collect support documents for allegations regarding special education issues before filing if applicable. Complete the KDE Core Incident Reporting Form application. Connect to KDE Core Allegation Reporting. Only authorized individuals can access the secure application. After you submit the incident report and all required documentation, KDE will begin the investigation. At that time, you will no longer be able to view the incident report in Cavion Core. KDE will contact you if any additional information or documentation is needed. If you have questions about whether the report was submitted successfully, please contact Beth Bales in the Office of Legal Services. Do not resubmit an incident report, as that will create unnecessary duplicates. Our next topic is site monitoring visits. OAA will be conducting both in-person and virtual spring monitoring visits. When a school is chosen, the DAC will receive a call from an OAA staff member prior to the visit. During the visit, school staff, including the BAC, a building administrator, and the DAC, if available, will be asked some questions and asked to provide some testing documentation. In addition, OAA may also want to see the testing storage area and some of the testing rooms. Site visit survey questions will be able for review prior to a KDE site visit. In spring 2026, Cavion will also conduct in-person monitoring visits during assessment administration. DACs will receive a call from OAA staff informing them that Cavion will be conducting a visit. The Cavion staff will arrive at the start of the school day and will identify themselves with documentation. Cavion staff have passed background checks and have also received training regarding their obligations under FERPA and Kentucky state laws that protect student privacy. DACs will be interviewed and asked to provide testing documentation and procedures, which may include security protocols, distribution of test materials, etc. One difference from KDE site visits is that Cavion monitors will actively observe classrooms and log those observations in real time. Cavion monitors have been trained and instructed not to interfere with or disrupt testing in any manner. Efforts will be made not to observe groups who would be severely adversely affected by the presence of an outside person, such as students testing in small groups or individually due to behavior. Schools will need to provide valid network login credentials to the monitor. The information collected from these site visits will be used for reporting and auditing purposes. If OAA conducts a site visit, Cavion will not visit. Cavion site visit questions will not be available prior to a visit. Here are some resources with links that we have discussed today. Let's discuss some KDE committee work opportunities. The Kentucky Department of Education is seeking Kentucky educators to assist in several assessment-related tasks that will take place in 2026. K-12 and post-secondary educators, as well as community stakeholders interested in participating in assessment and accountability committee work are needed. A pool of candidates is being gathered for activities that will occur, and a Google form will be shared with DACs to forward to qualified applicants. A large portion of this work will be accomplished virtually, and participants will receive a stipend. Here we have the 2026 February DAC hybrid question and answer session dates and locations. Please note that the February 3rd date for Frankfurt is in person only. However, our Ashland, London, and Bowling Green dates are all hybrid. Please note that if weather or other circumstances impact an in-person session, the Q&A session will be held online only, and that will be communicated out through a special DAC email. This is the schedule for the Q&A sessions. Sessions will begin at 9 a.m. local time and will conclude at noon. These sessions will all follow the same topics and timeframes at each location. Once an agenda item has no additional questions, staff will move on to the next topic. We advise that participants planning to attend should plan for the entire meeting. Since the live Q&A sessions will not include full presentations of content already covered in this recorded video series, please be prepared by reviewing all or pertinent training videos on the administration of spring 2026 assessments. As always, if you have any questions about test security or any other topics related to assessment or accountability, don't hesitate to contact dacinfo@education.ky.gov or give us a call at 502-564-4394. Again, my name is Devin Avery, and thank you so much for joining me to discuss test security today.